Hello everyone, my name is Lanso90 and welcome to Let's Play Darkest Dungeon. So for those of you who haven't seen or heard of this game before, it's a roguelike game where you control a party of like 4 characters and you send them through hell, basically. It's a very, very difficult game. I have no idea if I can even win it. It's extremely hard. Like, as complicated as Cataclysm is, this game is just that difficult in comparison. But, so let's jump in. What I'm trying to decide to do is we have choices on our game type here in this newest update that came with the game. We're not doing sticking, because that's New Game Plus, it's even harder. So we're definitely not doing that. 2 that we're looking between are either Radiant or Darkest. Darkest is the default game settings. There's no time limit. There's no time limit in Radiant either. Campaign will be longer and more challenging than Radiant mode, is what it claims. A Radiant campaign, while still challenging, are adjusted to be faster and more forgiving than normal, seriously for your first Darkest Dungeon experience. It's a little bit easier. It's not really easy mode, and that's what they say all over the forums and stuff. It's not actually supposed to be considered easy mode. It's just supposed to be faster. That said, I put about probably 20 hours or so into Radiant mode in my own little playthrough. And I noticed that late game it actually gets harder than Darkest mode. And why is that? Well, because it's built to be faster, your characters level up a lot faster. But if they're leveling up faster, that means you're grinding less money and loot overall. So what happens is your characters get over-leveled while their gear does not get as good, which can lead to some issues late game. But other than that, it is easier, and definitely shorter. So it's really kind of 12 to 1, or 6 to 1, half dozen to the other. We'll try Radiant again. I have it on I have the game on early access mode or whatever it's called. It doesn't say right now. Coming in hot mode, I think, which means updates will come in. I'm kind of hoping that Radiant mode will see some more rebalances. That might make it a little bit better for us. So we will do Radiant, but no promises that it's actually going to be easier. Although before we do that... Ah, shit, I can't get out of this mode right now. Hold on. I want to, crap. I want to play the intro cinematic for you, if you haven't seen that before. His voice acting in this game is awesome.
Ruin has come to our family. You remember our venerable house? Opulent and imperial, gazing proudly from its stoic perch above the moor. I lived all my years in that ancient, rumor-shadowed manor, fattened by decadence and luxury. And yet I began to tire of conventional extravagance. Singular, unsettling tales suggested the mansion itself was a gateway to some fabulous and unnameable power. With relic and ritual, I bent every effort towards the excavation and recovery of those long-buried secrets, exhausting what remained of our family fortune on swarthy workmen and sturdy shovels. At last, in the salt-soaked crags beneath the lowest foundations, we unearthed that damnable portal of antediluvian evil. Our every step unsettled the ancient earth, but we were in a realm of death and madness. In the end, I alone fled laughing and wailing through those blackened arcades of antiquity, until consciousness failed me. You remember our venerable house, opulent and imperial. It is a festering abomination. I beg you, return home, claim your birthright, and deliver our family from the ravenous, clutching shadows of the darkest dungeon.
So yes, it's a very dark setting with eldritch horrors. Alright, so now let's get started. Radiant mode. Call it the light fire, because it uses the name of your save file as the name of the estate, so light fire estate. There we go, and let's start this.
You will arrive along the old road. It winds with a troubling, serpent-like suggestion through the corrupted countryside, leading only, I fear, to ever more tenebrous places. There is a sickness in the ancient, pitted cobbles of the old road, and on its writhing path, you will face viciousness, violence, and perhaps other damnably transcendent terrors. So steel yourself, and remember there can be no bravery without madness. The old road will take you to hell, but in that gaping abyss, we will find our redemption.
So as you can see, the caretaker is absolutely insane. I still haven't figured out, I haven't watched any of the in-game stuff, but as you saw in that intro, he shot himself. But he's here. So what happened? And he refers to the sending of the letter in past tense. Alright, so we're gonna get some pop-ups here. I'm not gonna read those because I'll just explain what's going on here. So, in this game, you move room to room, and there's hallways in between. These are our two characters to start with. Normally we'll have a team of 4, though. I don't even know if you can go out with less than 4. But it would probably be an extremely horrible idea to do so. But this is a tutorial mission. You always get the same 2 characters, a Crusader and a Highwayman. Crusader is obviously the frontline melee fighter type, and the Highwayman's a ranged guy, for the most part, but they both... He has some melee skills as well, and he also has like some healing and defensive buffs and things like that. But let's continue.
Brigands have run up these lanes. Keep to the side path. The hamlet is just ahead.
I'll try to not overtalk the narrator. I think his first name is Wayne. I don't know what his last name is, but he's a really badass narrator, as you can tell.
Dispatch this thug in brutal fashion, that all may hear of your arrival.
Alright, so let's get started here. So there's our first fight. You can get fights in hallways. They're usually in the rooms, but they can appear in hallways. The hallway ones are usually easier. There's also usually a lot more enemies in this, but this is just a tutorial. So we can select our skills here that we can use, and then we can scroll over the enemy to see what it will do to him. You can see he has 12 hit points. You have an 83% chance to hit with this, a 5% chance to crit, and a 4 to 8 damage possible. Plus, this is a bleeding skill, so it has a 100% chance to cause bleed for 2 points for 3 rounds, and it also reduces the bleed resistance in the future. So on top of the damage we see here, we're also possibly going to do the bleed damage. You can also see, though, that he has bleed resist. I don't think I can scroll down. Yeah, I can't really scroll down and point to it, but he has a 20% bleed resist, so it's actually only an 80% chance to cause the bleed. The other ability we can use right now is Grape Shot Blast. But it's not very effective. You can see it's a lot less damage and 10% less chance to hit, roughly. So it's not really a good choice here. And the differences between these two, if you look at the very top of the skill, it shows 3 yellow dots and 2 red dots. The 3 yellow dots tell you the position in the party from which he can use the attack on our side, and the 2 red dots show who he can attack in the enemy party on the other side. So this one, he can only target the people in the front 2 spots, but he can use the skill in any of the front 3 spots of our party. While this one, this other ability, Grape Shot Blast, he can shoot it from the 2 middle spots in our party, and the links between these indicate that he can shoot all 3 people simultaneously in the first 3 spots of the enemy party with this. But there's only one person here, so obviously we only want to do open vein here. He dodged. That's shitty. But we dodge as well, so that's good. As far as these stats and things go, I think dodge does come out to a flat percentage. I don't know for sure if that's true. But even though it just says a point number value here, I do think that is a 5% chance to dodge. But I could be wrong. Damage obviously is accurate. It's worth noting that in this game, crit chances are a lot higher than it is in a lot of games. Like normally you have like a 1 to 2% chance to crit or something like that, because it would roll for once to hit and then once again for crit. Here it's just a flat value of 5% chance to crit with him. I didn't check on the Highwayman, but I think the Highwayman's is even higher. And sometimes these skills have a chance to do extra chance for critical chance, so it's a lot likely, a lot more likely to get crits in this game than it is in a lot of games, which is nice. So what we can do here, you can see we have all of our stats abilities open with our Crusader. His main offensive ability, though, is his Smite. You can see it does quite a bit of damage compared to like what our Highwayman was going to do with his stab. Can do 6 to 12 damage, and that's about it. Doesn't do anything special, it doesn't cause bleed or anything. If he was an unholy enemy, he'd get 15% extra damage. We also have Zealous Accusation, which hits the people in the first 2 slots. We have a stun attack, which stun prevents them from taking their next move. And we have Bulwark of Faith, which increases our torchlight. We'll get into that kind of later. Marks himself as a target, which makes the enemy more likely to attack him. And also gives him 25% extra protection. So we have a few options here, obviously. We don't want to use Zealous Accusation because it's not as strong as the Smite is. You can see it has a minus 40% to damage. And there's only one enemy here, so it's not very worthwhile. Stunning Blow is tempting. He has a 25% stun resist, so it has a 75% chance to work. And it only does 2 to 3 damage, though. It's not the most damaging thing. Or we can smite him for 6 to 12 damage. If we hit him for max damage or crit, we should kill him, which is pretty nice. Hopefully Dismas will go before him next turn as well. But yeah, we'll try to smite him. If we miss, or don't do very much damage, or he goes first, it would have been better to stun him. I believe in this case, we're pretty likely to hit, and then Dismas should probably hit next turn first, so this should be worthwhile. I'm not going to go into this much detail with every turn, I just kind of wanted to explain what's going on here. Because purely this game is really 100% about risk-reward management, and basically nothing else. Let's continue forward. While exploring, you often find interactive objects. So sometimes you'll find these interactive objects between rooms. They're called curios. It doesn't matter right now who in our party looks at this, but it does. Whatever happens from this tent, it does happen to whoever investigates it. So click on it with like Dismas, inside the tent, bring in stuff valuables,
Leave nothing unchecked.
get more loot.
There is much to be
Here's our
found in
inventory.
forgotten places.
It looks gigantic right now, but trust me, that's the smallest inventory you'll ever see in gaming. So we lost some light here as we approach this doorway, because we just lose light over time as we pass through hallways. The higher the light is, the more damage and accuracy you have, and also the less stress you receive. We'll talk about stress later. You also have a higher chance of scouting, which we'll also discuss later. And a higher chance for monster surprise. When you surprise people, that means you go first, instead of them going first. If the light gets lower, you'll take on more stress, they'll have more accuracy and damage, but you'll also gain more loot, and have a higher chance to crit. So again, risk management, risk-reward management. That's what the theme's gonna be here. Now let's go through this room.
An ambush. Send these vermin a
message.
Alright, so this time we have 2 enemies.
And they are kind.
Still a lot less than we'll normally sorry, I was talking over him that time. I apologize for that. This time we have 2 enemies. And normally you'll see a lot more than that. But this is a pretty intimidating fight. And people can actually lose this fight. This is not actually an easy fight for a tutorial mission. Because this guy actually is a... I don't know if him specifically is considered a champion enemy. But I do believe he is. Most of the characters, he actually takes up 2 spots on their team over there. Which we can see if we look at like open vein. You can see it can only hit him. Even though it says it can hit people in the first 2 slots, it's taking up both slots. He also has way more health, and it's generally just a pain in our ass. So he's a big problem. This guy is a Fusilier. Usually the enemies in the back row tend to do more damage and more stress damage, but be softer targets. So they're usually the priority if you can get to them. As you can see though, we can't really get to him with this melee attack. But we also have pistol shot, which we can shoot the targets in the back with. We couldn't use this in the last fight because there was no one in the back. Dismas could take this shot and do a fair amount of damage to him, and then he would probably be able to kill him on the next turn with another shot. However, this guy has a lot of health, so maybe we want to whittle him down instead. But this is where it gets more complicated about what we want to do, you know. You can also do this tracking shot. It buffs him, so he has more damage, more accuracy, and more crit chance. I don't know if this is the best move to do, but I am thinking I want to do this. This fight's going to take longer, so if we give him a buff, it'll be more useful in the long term. So we're going to take this shot, I think. He actually did quite a bit of damage with it for what it was. Now he has a decent buff. Will it be enough for him to one-shot that guy in the next round? I don't know. So we have Zealous Accusation, but just like his melee attack, it's only going to hit the guy in the front. And it doesn't count for 2 hits, because it's one dude. So it's not really that valuable. And then we have the chance to stun here. But this time, he has 50% resistance, so it's only a 50% chance to work. In which case we waste a lot of damage, so I don't know if I want to do that. We can buff his protection up and mark him. So make it so he takes 25% less damage and be more likely to be targeted. Or we can just go for a lot of damage. Which I think we want to do. I think if we had 4 people, we might want to do the Bulwark of Faith. But since this is the end of our run here, because this is a very small dungeon, obviously, we only have to get through this one room. Since this is so small and we know the mission's about to end, what we really want to do is avoid taking stress damage. Now, stress damage we haven't taken yet, but it's this bar underneath our health bar. And stress doesn't go away. Health damage goes away at the end of the mission, but stress stays. So you want to take as less stress as you can through each mission. If you get to 100 stress, your character has a pretty high chance of doing, what's it called? Basically, they go into a panic, and they'll start doing really bad things, and they'll make other people get more stress, and it can really snowball control. If the stress meter fills up twice, they have a heart attack and have a pretty good chance of dying. So we don't want to have that happen. Mainly in this fight, though, we just don't want very much stress because we're going to need these guys on our next mission we do. So we want to get through this as pretty much as quick as we can. So we're just going to go for damage. Ooh, that was a lot of damage, though. But it didn't do any stress damage to him. And we're almost done with the fight, so as I said. Now you can see maybe I should have taken the shot last time, because the shot probably would have killed him if I had taken 2 shots on him. 2 regular shots instead of doing the tracking shot. So I've made my first mistake of the game. This guy is probably going to survive this hit unless we crit or do max damage. Or we can miss and like be in a really bad spot. Luckily we dodged. Let's obviously we made a mistake last time, so let's just go for damage now. Good dodge. Dodges have been real this turn. Wow. We're getting really lucky on the dodges, to be honest with you. We don't deserve these lucky dodges. Okay, so now we have some things to think about. Again, it's the same chances we just had in the last attack to kill him or not. Probably not likely. It's probably going to take 2 hits to kill him. So what I'm thinking now is we have Grape Shot Blast. So even though this guy takes up 2 slots, Grape Shot Blast hits all 3 spots. And even though it's not very much damage, I believe, as long as he hits for a fair amount of damage here, if he does, he might do enough damage to the guy in the front that the Crusader can kill the guy in the front with the next attack. So that's what I'm gonna go with. Oh, second mistake of the game. See, I'm taking big risks here, and it's causing more anguish than it's causing help, and that's usually what happens with this game. No clutch dodge that time. Got some stress. Unfortunate. Alright. Doesn't have the best chance in the world to kill the guy in the front. He actually has no chance to kill the guy in the back. So the tracking shot actually was like the worst thing we've ever done. Already. Because it faded before it even had a chance to work. Now he'll only kill this guy if he crits. He has a fair chance of killing this guy, but when a character dies, they leave their corpse on the ground, which is going to leave this guy in the back, and then the Crusader is still not going to be able to hit him. So yeah, we left ourselves in a really shitty spot, obviously. We're going to try Grape Shot Blast again. There we go. Now anything to the guy in the back should kill him next round. We're taking bleeding damage, by the way, which is just damage over time, as you would expect. Let's just go for the guaranteed kill here. After the explanation about corpses I just gave you. And now let's actually take this guy out. Alright, so we made mistakes. So we completed our quest. We have the option to just go straight to town or continue adventuring. Just for the sake of argument, I'm going to click continue adventuring. There's this chest here that we can investigate and open up and possibly get loot out of. But there's a problem. It says, man, it's trapped chest. This is a tutorial on traps. That thing's trapped. Normally it won't be so obvious, but the one in tutorial I think is always trapped, and I don't think it ever gives you anything positive. So we will just end the mission without risking that. I think it would only give you blight damage, which would of course go away at the end of the round, or end of the mission. But let's just get in the habit of avoiding things that we know are not going to be good for us. Characters gain experience. They both leveled up to 1. I don't know if they reach level 1 in the regular game without being in Radiant mode, but they do in Radiant mode. Bloodthirsty on our I wanted to call him Bounty Hunter, but that's a different class. Highwayman. Heroes can be renamed and recolored in the character panel. I will.
Welcome home, such as it is. This squalid hamlet, these corrupted lands, they are yours now, and you are bound to them.
Alright, so we are home, such as it is. And we have all these quests to finish. Not really, these aren't quests that we can tackle right now. They will just appear as we get to them. And then this is just raise everyone to level 6. Over on this side, we can see what's happened during the last week. Each turn is, or every mission is a week. May probably won't need it. So yeah, we can rename our characters and stuff. I will rename it after subscribers, but we won't rename these main 2 characters because there is an achievement for them getting to the end of the game, and I don't know if renaming them might ruin that. So we're gonna avoid doing that. Let's go through some of the buildings we have here. They're not all unlocked yet, but they will be. Stagecoach is the main one.
Women and men, soldiers and outlaws, fools and corpses. All will find their way to us now that the road is clear.
So this is where we get new heroes. This was the one place where Darkest Dungeon is nice to you. And it's the only place where it's nice to you. Heroes are free. Absolutely free. You can throw as many bodies at the situation as you want. There will always be more bodies. Guaranteed. Just throw people to their deaths, basically. And you're always guaranteed the same 2 people in this first stagecoach here. You get a Plague Doctor and a Vestal.
What better laboratory than the blood-soaked battlefield?
Plague Doctor does lots of blight damage, which is damage over time, and he can also do quite a bit of stuns. I think it's actually a she. And she can cure diseases and things. She's pretty useful, especially early game.
A sister of battle, pious and unrelenting.
The Vestal is a very good healer, especially early game. So to start off with here, it's basically starts you off to saying, do this. Increase the number of heroes available to 3 from the Stagecoach network. Nope, he's not going to say anything. Let's upgrade our hero barracks.
Word is traveling. Ambition is stirring in distant cities. We can use this.
Again, we just throw bodies at the problem. But we're going to need more heroes after this next quest, so that's why we have to upgrade this thing right now. Everything else is locked. These things are just kind of, they don't really do anything for us. This is the graveyard to show you who's dead.
Most will end up here, covered in the poisoned earth, awaiting merciful oblivion. In time, you will know the tragic extent of my failings.
This just lets you see everything that's happened and replay the cinematics and stuff. But we are out of time for this video. I hope y'all enjoyed and have a good day.